We're back again with another FPL video ahead of Game Week 16 this time, and this is going to be my team selection video. I'm going to be recapping on Game Week 15, then looking ahead to Game Week 16, and I may or may not have made 2 transfers already, so let's get straight into the video. So in Game Week 15, I've so far got 37 points. I've still got Ramsdale left to play, and the 37 points does include the 2 points coming off my bench in Tino Livramento, and I'm around 88,000 in the world. So the last 2 or 3 game weeks have been pretty poor, to be honest. I was looking to actually creep into the top 30k, but hopefully my next set of transfers and the plans I have set in place will help me propel back into the rankings that I want. Still, you can't always do well. You're always going to get some grey or red arrows at some point, so you've got to take it on the chin. Ramsdale in goal, let's see how he does against Everton. I'm fairly optimistic. Not, to be honest, that's probably lying, but let's wait and see. Ramsdale has been a very good asset, and even if he blanks, he can get 3 points, so you know, I'll take that at this stage. And yeah, this is looking like my worst game week of the season so far, and yeah, it always kind of happens around the FPL Cup qualification time, doesn't it? But, you know, it's kind of like maybe a little curse, I'd say. Then looking at my defence, Reece James with 0 points, got a yellow card and conceded 3 goals to West Ham. Alonso has got an injury, a back injury. Let's see if we get any information over the week. And also 1 point. No yellow card for him at least, but that's just really poor. 1 point across the 2 Chelsea fullbacks. And literally just a few weeks ago, it would have been 20, 30 plus, you know, when you combine both of their scores. Cancelo, a blank as well. And City just have this knack now of conceding late on when they've already kind of secured the win and they just concede. And to be honest, maybe could have conceded another one. Still, City have a fantastic defence. I wouldn't just be getting rid of their assets. If you have double City defence, that's still a viable option long term and probably something better than a double up in Chelsea defence. But yeah, at the moment, the premium defenders or the mid-price defenders aren't really doing it as they were a few weeks ago. And this is something I was talking about, where the defence might not perform now to the same level, and it'll be the midfielders and attackers, and it's going to operate in cycles. So you can't always rely on a particular part of your team to save you. That's why you need good squad depth, and you have to be very, very concise and also meticulous in your planning and decision making. Trent Alexander-Arnold, very happy with him. The shining light at the back, 9 points, got the bonus and the clean sheet, and I'm very happy to have him. I know some people may be a bit tempted by Robertson, but for me, Robertson is not as good as Trent Alexander-Arnold still, despite his really good form as well. Someone to consider, but for the time being, Trent is still one of the best assets you can own. Looking at my midfield, getting Gallagher in the other week is probably a mistake, but still, I think he could do a decent job over the coming weeks and months. But another blank, that's as simple as that, another blank. And at one point I had Antonio in my team, then I had Livramento, then Gallagher. In the end, what I did was pretty much put Antonio as far away as possible from my actual starting 11, and that means he won't even come on from the bench, and I'm going to miss out on his assist against Chelsea. Rafinha, another assist for him and some bonus points, so fairly happy with the Brazilian. But other than that, Sunday was very disappointing, just like Saturday. And I just knew from the beginning, when Chelsea struggled so much to West Ham, I knew I was in for a long week. Jota, I mean, missing, I can't even believe what he missed, to be honest. It's not technically an open goal, but come on, he should be burying that. Jota does have this sometimes where he can miss some very big chances. Salah, though, got an assist in the dying embers of the game with an Origi winner against Wolves. Wolves might feel a bit hard done by, but I can't really celebrate any Salah goal or assist because it literally means nothing in the grand scheme of things unless you don't captain him and your new captain fails. But I've seen some people captain Heung-min Son and a few others who did well this week, like Trent, so congratulations on that. And sometimes going away from the template can propel you up the ranks, and that's something that maybe I should do in the coming weeks as well. And Vardy came off the bench. Some news that came out from the day before said that he would actually start, so I was quite confident, but in the end, Daka was actually playing instead. He got an assist, so Vardy with 1 point. And then Tony, it looks like he's going to be missing the next 2 game weeks through COVID, and this is according to The Athletic, and to be honest, it just makes sense with the COVID protocols in place in the UK. But that means Livramento comes off my bench. But overall, it's a really poor week. As you can see, I can't really sugarcoat it, to be honest. But still, some positives. It's not like my team is complete trash, but having said that, there are definitely ways to improve. And a few strong points, or at least what appeared to be strong points a few weeks ago, don't look so strong now. But still, I don't want to be too erratic or impatient. Having said that, I have made 2 free transfers. Let's talk about what I've done to try and improve my situation heading into Game Week 16. I've decided to go with form, and I've brought in 2 of the most informed players in the Premier League right now, Bernardo Silva and Emmanuel Dennis. I'll be talking about those decisions when I get to them. Ramsdale in goal at home to Southampton. I think he'll be pretty decent, to be fair. Probably one of the better goalkeepers heading into Game Week 16 on paper. It's a good fixture. Arsenal tend to keep these clean sheets, or at least do well against opposition they're expected to beat. It's when they come up against these top 4 sides from last season where they struggle. But I think Arsenal can keep a clean sheet against Southampton. Having said that, if Southampton show some of the attacking prowess that they have, for example, against Liverpool where they had 3 big chances, then Arsenal could be in for a long afternoon. But pretty happy with Ramsdale. I'm definitely not looking to get rid of him. I think Chelsea can keep a clean sheet against Leeds, despite the fact that Bamford has just come back. He also netted a late equaliser, and Rafinha can cause Chelsea some problems. But if Chelsea want to win the title, they need to shore things up at the back, because that's pretty much the main source of their success, not only under Thomas Tuchel, but throughout their history. And James is still a great option. Don't discount him completely. I know the recent blanks have been very frustrating, but I think James can still do a very good job. And Alonso if he is fit, but of course my patience is kind of wearing thin with him. Cancelo at home to Wolves. It's not a great fixture, but I think City have enough to keep a clean sheet here, so long as they keep focus up until the very end and try to get that clean sheet, because at the moment they just seem to let them slip at the very end. Trent at home to Villa. Villa is quite a tough fixture. They've done very well recently under Gerrard. Only lost to Manchester City really, but I think Liverpool will have way too much for the Villains, and they'll be able to score quite a few goals and probably keep a clean sheet. But don't be too surprised if someone like Watkins gets a goal, and Villa maybe can cause some problems. But to be honest, I think Liverpool should win this relatively comprehensively, at least. Bernardo Silva, my new signing. I could have gone for Jarrod Bowen, but because I already have Mikel Antonio, I wanted to kind of balance it out in terms of my attack and have a Manchester City midfielder in there. I had that idea back in Game Week 9 and 10 with Phil Foden. It didn't pay off and he got injured, of course, but I'm very happy with Bernardo Silva. At the moment, he has to be one of the most informed players in the world, let alone the Premier League, and I think he's doing extremely well. The stats are relatively decent, and I don't think he's going to sustain the level of goals up until the end of the season, but I think he'll continue to tick along, and he's going to be one of the best midfielders you can own around that price, just like Diego Jota, Mason Mount, Phil Foden and Ilkay Gundogan. But very happy with Bernardo Silva. I'll still look to get Jarrod Bowen in. That was always the plan, to get Bowen or Bernardo Silva in for Rafinha this week, but I decided to go with Bernardo Silva at this moment in time because of the players I already have and to try and balance things out. Then we have the double up in Liverpool attack again. And if Jota can get his shooting boots on, he can be in for a big score. And I think Salah captaincy, maybe you could go away from it this week, but I will probably be putting the armband on Mohamed Salah. And a few different options do tempt me to go away from the Egyptian, but Salah has only blanked once this season in the Premier League. He's just been in absolutely scintillating form. The consistency is unreal. It reminds me of a Messi back in 2012. Nowhere near the same level, of course, but it kind of gives me similar vibes, but of course, yeah, let's not compare them. And up front, we have Antonio away to Burnley. It's a pretty good fixture, as it has been all season, and I think that West Ham can cause some very big problems. Right now, I would rather have Jarrod Bowen over Mikel Antonio, but that could change over the course of the next 5 to 10 game weeks. West Ham now have some very good fixtures. Game week 17 isn't the easiest against Arsenal. Yeah, Antonio could do well in that fixture, and the same goes for West Ham. And I'm happy to keep him. I've kept him for this long, and he's now finally got an attack in return. And with these fixtures, I just don't think it makes sense to get rid of him. And we have Jamie Vardy up front, and it was very disappointing to see him benched, but Brendan Rodgers did hint at it a week or so ago, and it's finally happened. He should start against Newcastle, and if he does, he's actually a really good captaincy option. The same goes for James Maddison or any other of their options who are fit and available for that game week, but Jamie Vardy should start. I can't tell you that with any degree of certainty, but he should be starting, and he's very important to Leicester. And they did lose in the end to Aston Villa, and I think he could actually be a really good captaincy option. He might be the one I actually go to instead of Salah. It's very risky though, and I'm not too sure if it is worth the risk. And my new signing, Emmanuel Dennis up front, he has come in for Ivan Toney, who, as I alluded to earlier, is going to miss the next 2 game weeks through COVID-19. and I was always planning on doing a downgrade or a move from Tony to either King or Dennis. Now, I've been talking about this in my streams and videos. I was leaning more towards King in those moments, and I still have a little hunch that King might have been the better choice long term. He's on penalties, that's already a big plus. He's definitely not going to African Cup of Nations, whereas there is still a possibility of Dennis going, despite some concerns of the African Cup of Nations going ahead, or if Dennis is going to be in the final squad for Nigeria. And then at the very end, you look at the underlying statistics, both of them very good, but King is better in terms of XG and big chances. The thing is he taking those big chances? He isn't. I think Dennis is a better finisher, also a better player, and when he does something, gets a goal or an assist, he is more likely to get the bonus points than King. So I think he's far more explosive, Dennis, and he's a better player, and on the eye test, I'm more impressed by him. Having said that, the stats and the numbers would point you towards King. It's a 50-50 decision. King has got 54 points so far this season, Dennis has got 75, and he's the second highest scoring player in the entire game. So it's not an easy decision, it's 50-50 either way, but I've decided to go with Dennis, despite the fact that a few days ago, if I had made that transfer, it probably would have been King. And looking at my bench, Gallagher's in there. I wouldn't mind too much if he came in for Alonso this week. I need to see some improvement though from Gallagher, because otherwise it's going to be an easy decision to make to move him on for Jarrod Bowen in the coming weeks. Livramento, second sub, it's not too bad. Hopefully he doesn't come on though. And the fact that he ended up coming on for me last week in Gameweek 15 for a 2-pointer with a 98th minute equaliser from Maupai, I mean, it's just absolutely unbelievable. I didn't expect that to be the case when it actually happened, because I thought that everyone in my starting 11 would be there, but Tony, that literally completely blew that out of the water. And Douglas Luiz is third sub against Liverpool. He's probably one of the better 4.5 million options you can get, alongside Billy Gilmore and a few others. But that's my entire team. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Are you going to be deviating away from the Salah captaincy, or will you just put the armband on the Egyptian once more? The final part of this video is showing you my transfer plans, and without making any transfers, I've got 0.9 million in the bank, which I'm relatively happy with. That transfer from Tony to Dennis definitely gave me some funds, and I have exactly enough money to make these next 3 transfers. The problem is there will be price rises for Cristiano Ronaldo, Jarrod Bowen and Lamptey, so I'm not going to be able to afford all of them in time, unfortunately. But what I can do is do Marcos Alonso down to Tariq Lamptey. I could also move Conor Gallagher up to Jarrod Bowen, and I can get Cristiano Ronaldo in for Jamie Vardy. And yeah, any price rises will put those plans down into the mud. I can still get 2 of those 3 players though. Cristiano Ronaldo might be the one I'm kind of contemplating, to be honest. In defence, I could also get Reguilon instead of Lamptey, or another budget defender instead. Having said that, I probably will be leaning towards Lamptey because it gives me more money to invest in my midfield and attack. Jarrod Bowen coming in for Gallagher is an easy decision, and to be fair, if I'm not able to afford Ronaldo because of price rises to any of these 3 players, what I could do is get Reguilon instead of Lamptey and get Bowen in for Gallagher, and I'd be relatively happy with that. And maybe in the coming weeks, try to get Bruno Fernandes or Manchester United cover of another form rather than Cristiano Ronaldo. Having said that, this team looks very good going into the future for the next few months, to be honest, and I wouldn't really be in a position to have to use the wild card, which will come about around Game Week 18-19, the second wild card. I want to keep that as much as possible for as long as possible and maximise my chances going into the double game weeks and blank game weeks, to be fair. But it's a good team overall that I have currently, and with these transfers it would only improve even further. Let me know what you would do down in the comment section below. With 0.9 million in the bank and with these 3 transfers, I'd have nothing left over. Other moves could include, instead of Livramento, I could also upgrade him to a Reguilon, but that wouldn't be possible if I get Ronaldo in too. And Bruno Fernandes could be my Man United cover, but who would I get rid of? Maybe Jota, but I don't think that makes sense, especially if the African Cup of Nations does go ahead and Salah and Mane miss out for at least 2 game weeks, and Jota should be in with a very good chance of some points in those game weeks against Brentford and Crystal Palace. Other than that, I'd be relatively happy with the rest of my squad. I don't think I'd change too much, to be honest. If anything, COVID cases, injuries, and other factors will come into play, so it's not going to be plain sailing. But having these 3 transfers on top of the 2 I just made would definitely put me in a strong position. But thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it or found it useful, smash the like button and subscribe if you're new around here. Remember to join the Discord server. The link is in the description below. And you can also become a channel member by clicking the join button or just signing up and clicking on the link in the description as well. There's also the league code and the league link. All of that is there, and my socials, my Twitter and Instagram, Dylan_RCM. You can talk to me there. A big shout out to all the channel members. Good luck with Game Week 16, and hopefully the Game Week 15, the final match there, is also good, and then we can focus and push on, get those ranks that we want going into this Christmas period, which is going to be hectic, but at the same time fun, hopefully. That's the main thing. Thank you very much as always, and I'll see you next time.